Hi everyone, it's Jamie here from Ripple Energy, bringing you another update on your wind farm at Kirk Hill. So I'll start with the good news. Behind me on the hillside here you can see a new addition to the family, which is turbine 4. So that's it just there, with the crane still up next to it. The cranes are busy de-rigging and moving on to the next turbine they're going to do, which will be T6. But with T4 up, that means we have 6 out of 8 of the turbines fully assembled, which is great progress. And this was a relatively straightforward one. T4 has always been one of my favourite turbines, nothing too complex about it. And we got pretty lucky with the weather on this one. We didn't have too many days of wind delays when assembling it. So that's been really good. A few of you may have seen the email which went out very recently about the timelines for energization of the project. So unfortunately this is the slightly less good news, but we wanted to share this with you as soon as we had clarity on the picture here. So the grid connection for the project is always an area of risk and a lot of complexity. There's a lot of interfaces with different parties, and the network operator in this region, which is SP Energy Networks, they have a huge queue of projects that they're trying to get connected at the moment, predominantly wind and also some solar in the area. Now, we've always fought very hard for our queue position, and we've been engaging on a weekly basis with SP Energy Networks. In reality, I'm often on the phone to someone there pretty much every day to see how things are progressing. But there are a lot of moving parts involved, and unfortunately SP Energy Networks have had a setback with one of their suppliers, and they were due to be supplying a very specialised cable with an optical fibre built into it. Unfortunately, that supplier has had supply chain issues, and so they were looking at a very long delay on delivery of that cable. Now, luckily, by working with SP Energy Networks, we've been able to identify an alternative stock of this cable that is now in stock with SP Energy Networks, and so they are able to press on with the cabling now. But unfortunately this has caused a delay which will impact on the energization date. So we're now looking at around about the 22nd of March as the date that the network operator is likely to energize the site. We are still working very hard with them to try and improve on that, and it may be possible to bring that forward by a few weeks, but realistically we think it's very unlikely that it's going to be any earlier than March. So we will keep you updated on progress on this, but in terms of what this means for the project, once SP Energy Networks energise the supply to the site, we won't immediately be able to get the turbines operating. The next steps will involve our contractors doing live tests of the wind farm network, and then energising the switchgear and the transformers within the individual turbines. So we would expect that a couple of weeks after the site is energised, Enercon will be in a position to start fully commissioning the turbines. They are likely to do some pre-commissioning work prior to that to speed up the process, but some of the commissioning has to be done after the site is made live. So what we would expect is that roughly in early April we'll see the first few turbines coming online and starting to generate power, and then by mid to late April hopefully the full site by that point will be commissioned and exporting. So unfortunately, in terms of your savings, that means it's very unlikely that there will be savings applied to your bill before April, but as I say, we are working extremely hard with SB Energy Networks to ensure that all their work remains on track and that we can make improvements where we can. So we do really appreciate your patience on this. I understand it's probably a frustrating thing to hear. It is extremely frustrating for us as well, but there are very often challenges around the grid connection which can't always be avoided. It's a really challenging time for network operators at the moment and for the industry as a whole, because there are so many wind and solar sites coming online, which fundamentally is great news, and it's what we need to see happening. But it's always a challenge scaling things up, and a lot of the grid is having to be redesigned and built to a very different model of kind of decentralized power. So unfortunately, it can sometimes be a bit of a bumpy road, but there's no fundamental barriers here. We're still expecting to go live early next year. So, as I say, thank you for your patience, and look forward to bringing you further updates over the next few months.